Okay, so what we're doing right at this point to get people caught up is method versus intention. And we've established the fact that most people have an intention. They look at their methods and the methods aren't there. They say it's impossible. That's in their late 20s into early 40s. And by the time they turn 40 or earlier, they then start looking at the methods to pick an intention, which is really selling yourself short. There's Jennifer Chubb. You look fantastic, Jennifer. Oh my God. That picture you put up on Facebook, you are a stud muffinette. Okay. You're amazing. Okay. Okay. So we'll get back to the share here. All right. We'll give you another 30 seconds. This is what we don't do at the Fabulous Davene's company. We don't feed you dopamine hits. That's the self-help industry. They feed you dopamine hits, but don't make you do any work.
Only dopes want dopamine.
That's right. That's why they called it that.
Well, dopamine is great if you produce it through work.
Yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
true.
So let's see if anybody has anything that they would like to share. John.
Yes. I've said this before, but I've always wanted to work with my brother in his tax resolution business and his tax preparation business, but I didn't believe in myself enough, and I've been not, and I have not been willing to pay the price in order to acquire the necessary knowledge.
Yeah. And what's happening now?
Oh,
Now that we're working one-on-one, what's
oh,
happening?
I totally have flipped that around. Oh my gosh, I embrace learning more stuff. So I'm enjoying it. I really am
Yeah.
enjoying it.
What John has understood, because we've done some one-on-one work, what John has understood was he was looking at the methods available, and part of the methods available were his track record in not finishing what he starts. And so we were able to flip that around, which we're going to show you how to do today, and focus on the intention, because intentions create methods. Methods don't create intentions. Anybody else feel like sharing?
Anybody else ever used a bank balance as a reason not to do something?
Or you're not even, goals aren't even a part of your consciousness. What
Right.
could I achieve? What amazing thing can I do? I know Hannah, she wanted that brand new car and she got it.
Yeah.
I remember her sharing
Yeah.
that picture.
That was so
So
awesome, Hannah. Marlene saying,
yeah.
did you have your hand up, Marlene? Yeah. You can unmute yourself. That would be great. First of
Yep.
all, thank you, John, for having the courage and opening up the floodgate here. Marlene, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Mrakovčić.
Markovic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for,
Yakshamash.
oh, close. It's Croatian.
So tell us about your method. Tell us about an intention you had, and you looked at the methods first.
I started a business as an end of life educator, and then I I didn't promote it because I was like, yeah, I had it, everything's there, but I didn't promote it because I didn't know how, and I didn't know if I should. Yeah. So
Right.
I don't know if that's,
So you looked at the methods available that you knew and
and
said,
yeah,
I
I
don't know
didn't
how to
know.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
it's not always just the money.
That's right.
Okay. Sometimes it's a
Know
thank you
how.
so much. Thanks for your courage and getting it out there. We do the thing we're afraid of, right, Hannah? And then we develop courage. It doesn't work the other way around. So nice to see you. Got to see you at Fenway, right? That was awesome. Anyway, Fanic, and which was one of my things. There she is. Michelle from Newton.
Yeah, my mom's from
Now in Oahu, right?
Yeah, I booked my ticket to go back to New Hampshire, so I'll be there August, September. So yeah,
Beautiful.
I had the second surgery to correct my heart surgery. And yeah, so I've been a little bit lagging and feeling like a little bit like, because I signed up for the two courses. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, okay, let me just get on today because I'm just feeling like, that I'm that inconsistent performer, but there's no time than now. But I created a product about, God, it was like 15 years ago, and I've worked on it like 3 different times and kind of roadblocked on the prototype. I actually had it produced. And while I've been recovering, I got back into Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank. So I've been watching Shark Tank, and I kind of had to stop watching it at night because I realized I was getting a little bit ratcheted up on just like the excitement. But looking at the two pieces from, the people that are the inventors and it's their baby and so like attached to it, and then the investor side, the money side, but also feeling like if I'm circling back to create, work on this prototype, and it's been so many years since I first came up with this idea and created it, I'm like, how am I going to ever, get this thing to come to fruition? So, you know, I don't,
That's it.
I don't
That's
know
it.
yet,
You
but
look,
I'm glad I
you
can,
don't see the path,
I don't
right?
see the
You
path, but
don't see the path, which is what this is actually all about. And think so we got 3 different examples. And you know
Mhm.
what? If you're picking up what I'm putting down and what Lori's putting down, if you're picking it up, you're seeing they are all stymied, Marlene, Michelle, and John, who has started to move away from methods determining intentions. And I don't have the method, so it's impossible. I don't know how to do this. This is the shift. This changed my life. And this is actually the one concept that brought Lori and I together. I remember having a conversation with you I was in Uli Ali'i. We were just getting to know each other. And she started talking about she was at Market America, building at Market America at the time, and it was like, oh my gosh, it just opened everything up. Okay, so let's get into it. This is just awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Whoop. Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the difference here between people who successfully forge forward and manifest and those who don't. Look, successful people aren't any smarter than any of you or me or anyone else, okay? They simply think differently than Joe, the example that Mark gave a minute ago, okay? And like I was before I realized this, it was such a light bulb that went off. Because just like Joe, what it is it's a habit, okay, that we have to think that way, but the order is reversed here. Instead of letting our methods available determine what we're going to do or our intention, in other words, downgrade, in my case, downgrade my dreams to what the methods looked like they were. Successful people set the intention, and that's what they think about. What do I want? And it's a laser focus, and they know that the methods will just show up. They will arrive for you. The next thing they do is they ask questions. All right, successful people ask the right questions. They're always sitting for ideas and asking questions and waiting for the answer. All right, in our 60 plus years collectively between Mark and Davene and myself working with people, we've noticed that successful people never ask, can I see a path, before they commit? Instead, they ask, is it important enough to find a way? That's the key. Do I really want this? Is this important to me? Is it to find a way? So intelligent questions are always the answer, folks.
Right. Intelligent questions are more than the answer. They are a reason to be alive because you regenerate the greatest gift in the world, which is sitting between your ears. Unfortunately, it's been conditioned. Is this important enough to find a way? So, Marlene, what you want to do, it's either important enough to find a way or it isn't. And that has to be a heart decision, not an intellectual decision. This is where emotion matters. Emotion will steal intelligence. However, properly used, it changes everything. And this is where you want to use it. Is it really in your heart to do this to help people at that point in their life? The question proves that they know that they know that they know that there's a method. Think about this. When Marlene says to herself, is this important enough to find a way? She is actually confirming to her subconscious mind that there is a way. And instead of like Joe looking in his checkbook or obsessing over Shark Tank and thinking, I'm going to get on Shark Tank and I'm going to get some money from them and their connections, right? Because we've all been down that road with Shark Tank. Okay. They also know two very important things. Number one, okay, the two important things that trigger innovation and creativity. Those habits find new methods, invent them, or discover them. They are there. Okay. We write, we edit, we publish a book in 31 days, that book there, because I had a goal. That book, it took me 4 or 5 years to write the outline for. That became a bestseller, and 2 years to write the book. And I almost drove my wife crazy or drove my wife to homicide. She was ready to kill me. Okay, just, every sentence, I had to read her every sentence. Then once I had realized that I was stuck in method versus intention again, looking at the method, I don't have the skills to be a writer. I don't know, blah, blah. This one here, I had freed myself of that. The intention was to write a book in a month. So we picked a month with 31 days, every edge you can get. And we wrote the book in 31 days, published it, and became a bestseller. Kenny V has almost doubled his income in real estate so that he can do what he really wants, which is to open halfway houses. Trish wanted to experience different cultures and get involved in hot yoga. She did. I got a great picture I can show you later of her swimming with elephants. It was impossible to her. She couldn't figure out how to get certified with hot yoga. And now she goes and lives places 4 or 5 months at a time. She goes as an instructor. They put her up and she gets to immerse herself in the culture. Dawn Anderson, also from Minnesota, a single mother of 8. She wanted to live at the beach. Now she lives at the beach. She became a top earner in network marketing. It all fell apart on her. The company went out of business and she was in the top 1% of the earners. She now employs 33 women. She's empowering women and has a great business. And me, I had a dream when I was 8 years old to play at Fenway Park. It happened for me at 72 because I got rid of the idea I'm too old. And I went to fantasy camp and I got invited to play. We have over 4,000 stories about this. And because everybody that's done this with us has leveraged two things and the above question. Is this important enough to find a way? Think about that question again. It affirms to your subconscious mind, and the word affirm means to make firm in your subconscious mind, because once the law of subconscious activity takes hold, that is virtually an Aladdin's lamp. You have an automated manifesting mechanism within you. You don't need any courses on, I'll teach you how to manifest. What a crock of bullshit that is. I mean, that is total bullshit, because since you've been 12, 13, 14, depending on the kind of home you grew up in, but no later than 14 years old, you have been manifesting the thoughts that you hold in your subconscious mind. You don't have a choice. And so you need to understand how important, is this important enough to find a way? And Michelle, you got to come from your heart, not your pocketbook. Mark, you got to come from your heart, not your pocketbook. And the methods will show up. So the point of those two stories is this: for Dawn, for Ken, for Lori, for the fabulous Davene, who she didn't have enough money to fix her VCR, which is why she started her business. I didn't have a way to play at Fenway Park, because you have to understand the point of all these stories we're telling you and 4,000 other ones. The methods did not exist at the beginning of the intention. Once you decide, and the word decide comes from the Latin decidere, and it means to cut yourself off from any other possibility, which is why that question, is this important enough for me to find a way? Okay. They use these two truths. Number one, Dr. Land was hired by NASA to find geniuses. He couldn't find very many of them. So he started testing younger and younger and younger. All 5-year-olds test out as creative genius. He followed them for 25 years. By the age of 30, Marlene, guess what? Only 2% tested as creative genius. And he worked with Skinner. And Skinner deserves at least the amount of praise that both Jung and Freud get. A brilliant man. He invented behavioral psychology. And they found out that it's because of the school systems. And the school systems, we're done what? We're trained to follow instead of think, to comply, right? Instead of develop our individuality and our gifts, right? We almost get punished for being a kid, right? Uh, and most of all, to create, to compete rather than create and collaborate. You were born to think, explore your own gifts, collaborate with other people, and create new ways. Successful people do the work to restore that creative genius. It is still in you. It's just been conditioned out of you. So all the stories we're telling you, number one, they realized, they accepted that there's a creative genius. Now think about the project. Think about the project that you want, Michelle. Okay. Imagine turning a creative genius loose on it. You don't need Shark Tank. Shark Tank's already in here. The method, your subconscious is generally, if not always, already seeing the way. Okay. Number two, they leverage the law of subconscious activity. They use techniques to influence the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, the law of subconscious activity, and now in quote unquote neuroscience, is talking like they discovered it. This goes back over 7,000 years in all the myths. We have Jin, Jinn, who was the first writing of a trickster god, Michelle, that granted wishes. And then we see Jin, Jinn. You can see how that turned into the genie in the bottle, the magic carpet, the fairy godmother, Aladdin and the magic lamp. It turns out in every continent of cultures that didn't even know the other continents existed, in every country or village, in every country, an area had a trickster god. It's not a story for children. It's not for entertainment. The ancients were trying to tell us the law of subconscious activity. There is an Aladdin's lamp in your mind. And when you get the subconscious, you affirm over and over, right? Not with these long affirmations, but you learn how to affirm to yourself in the theta state, okay, what you want. The intention. The intention. You forget about the methods because Marlene's already made a decision that this is important enough to find a method which what tells the subconscious, we like to call it subby, tells the subconscious what? There is a method. And you know what the subconscious will do? It'll work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year to find and or create methods to manifest that intention. When you have a thought, John, 4,000 synaptic connections fire in your conscious mind. 4 billion fire in your subconscious mind. And I'm submitting to you, most of you don't have a dream that's complicated like nuclear fission or something like that. I guarantee that your subconscious mind, which is a photographic memory, it never forgets anything, has already seen the method. You just haven't connected the dots because you're loyal to method over intention. And so what do these successful people do? One, they realize there's a creative genius in them and they did the work to resurrect it. Those 2 books are a great way to do it. Okay. The course we have on that is a faster way to do it. Number 2, they use the law of subconscious activity, which means once the subconscious mind buys it, it doesn't argue. It doesn't debate. It accepts what you say 100%. It never quits. It never gets discouraged. It never tires. And it knows that the method is out there.
That power is the mind-blowing part, the big breakthrough that Mark and I talked about. So when you realize the 2 truths that he just shared and you embrace the fact that that's the power you wield, you may ask, like I did, then why do people fail? Okay, what happens? And just to get a little better understanding about subby, well, your subconscious mind, the habit mind, loves certainty. Okay, it likes guarantees. It wants to protect the self-image that's been formed in there, since you were born, basically. And so when it encounters an absence of methods, when you're first in the beginning phase here, it feels like danger, alert, fear, doubt, uncertainty. Those are all red flags for subby. So what you're doing here is learning about the power you wield and this powerful concept of method versus intentions. So you want to start and stop something. You want to stop asking, can I see the whole path? Okay. Start asking, what's the next step? So once again, we want to involve you here. We want to exercise and run you through something for a minute. So on your worksheet, what I'd like you to do now is take a couple minutes here and really center yourself for a minute. I like to have people take a breath for a minute, just focus in on your own world and nothing else right now, and ask yourself, what do I really want? What do you want? And then what method am I convinced must happen for me to have that? Okay, so what do I really want? What method am I convinced that must happen? And then what other methods might exist that I haven't considered? So I'd like you to take a couple minutes and write that down, okay? Search your heart when you ask, what do I really want? Get out of your head.
And what you guys are doing right now is why Chat GPT says that we're not world famous, because Jennifer, who's doing the work and changing her life, I'm getting to work with Jennifer 101, because we actually do work here. Okay. The self-help industry is a $51 billion industry with no quantifiable results. And they work on dopamine, those hits. Buy a book, you read the book, it sounds really great, your conscious mind understands it, and what happens? Nothing. But you buy another book because the books make you feel good. But the conscious mind, which understands it, Ruth Ellen, isn't calling the shots, and the subconscious mind doesn't learn that way. So I wanted to know in Chat GPT why we weren't a little bit more popular, and it went on to say that we are intensely disliked by gurus in the self-help industry. And I want to tell you something, that makes me feel great.
We use the four-letter word that begins with a W.
Yeah.
Part.
Yeah. Does anybody feel like sharing?
I will.
Okay, Stephen.
Okay. What do I really want? I want to retire in 3 to 5 years. And I'm looking at different money managers to help me get there. And what's the third one?
The third one is, what other methods might exist that you haven't considered?
I don't think there's any. I think I'm considering everything.
Okay. So that's a mistake. What you just said, I don't think there's any. You just took an infinite amount of possibilities off the table. Stephen, thank you so much. Do you see that? I don't think there's any. That closes your mind. So you're looking for the right financial manager that's going to change everything for you. And there's nothing wrong with looking there. But do you see that you have eliminated tens of thousands of possibilities?
Yes.
That's the conditioning that we're talking about. There's the magnificent Jennifer Chubb. Can you unmute?
Hello, everyone. So the dream, I have these beautiful dogs crawling all over me, so forgive me. The dream is to, get get out of debt, right? It's not the dream of everybody, but to not have the mortgage and the bills and the stuff so that I can really commit my life fully to animal rescue, financially, be able to donate whatever amount I want without having to worry about it, and the freedom to go wherever I'm needed. I recently had an opportunity to, and actually it was my definite major purpose was to volunteer with this particular animal rescue. And out of the blue, once I started talking to Mark, I got this email and they even paid me to go down and help with this huge rescue of like 130 chihuahuas.
Cool.
And it was amazing. It was just, I have no words. It was just a dream come true. And, I met people, a woman in particular. Again, the universe always in your path. If only you are wise enough and your eyes are open. But the final day, I met this woman and she lives in Texas, but she just drives all over and helps various different animal rescues. The one that I, love and was working with, but she just goes when the call comes. She just goes and she does whatever they need, and she helps load animals and transports them, hundreds of miles. I mean, I'm like, sign me up. So it's just, excuse me, sorry, got dogs all over me. It's just having the financial freedom that I can donate. I mean, I just donate all this stuff anyway. Sometimes I can't really afford it, but I'm like, oh my God, I got to donate. But just be able to financially just donate whatever I want without having to worry, and the freedom to go and just do rescue wherever I want to. Now, the financial means that I was thinking of and that I'm, I guess dabbling with and trying to see if that's the reality of my options because of working with Mark, was network marketing. So I've been with one company for 4 years. Now I've actually joined another company, still with the old companies. Now I'm with two different ones, doing two different kind of health and wellness products. And, the question that Mark poses that, again, I never really thought of. I thought that this is it. This is how you make a lot of money, and do all these things. It's like, but is it really what you want to do? Are you passionate about it? Do you, is it really you? Does it light you up? And I'm like, well, that's a great question. So that's kind of where I'm at. And, thinking of other options is doing different things with my dog training business. I could potentially make a lot more money through that in different ways. So just really kind of opening my mind. So it was so interesting that you asked this. And I'm like, well, I don't have the workbook, but I know the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the answer. That's the point. But I'm open. My eyes are more open to what I thought, well, this is the only way to,
Right.
well, is it really something you want to do?
Yeah, so let me just jump in here, and it's been remarkable. Obviously, I've had the honor of working one-on-one with John and one-on-one with Jennifer, and you can see how they've changed. Stephen, I want to come back to you because you are such a helpful guy. Do you notice the difference in Jennifer's language and your language? You have a financial, there aren't any other ways, and she's open to all kinds of ways, right? And this is someone who has moved past looking at methods, their perception of methods to hit the intention versus someone who has this intention to rescue animals. That's the main thing. Her passion is in there. That's where her passion is.
Mhm.
And that's opened her up to the idea that there may be additional methods. And obviously, having a mastermind partner helps. John, I'm going to hold off on you till the end so we can get to the end of the material. You're so awesome, baby. Thank you for sharing already once. So Lori, let's bring him home here, and then I want to
Yep.
tell him about a big surprise on the
Okay.
next thing. Okay.
So
So
look at your committing to your intention is paramount, okay? Wow, we got a blur here. You got to commit to your intention. That's the key. Methods like our friend Joe doesn't know, okay, they appear after your commitment to your intention, right? Most people abandon that intention just because they can't see a method. We've been talking about that. They don't understand that they have that creative genius within them, and they always have, and they do not learn the law of subconscious activity. When you really get this and internalize it, you'll be blown away at the power you wield to get anything you want and get it done. Successful people hold that intention, they decide to hold the intention, and they know and understand the law of substitution. They also, by the way, know that change is pretty much never comfortable, convenient, or instant, which is what
Right.
society wants. Everyone wants that, right? So it is simple, method versus intention. You know this. Methods do not create the intention. Intentions, on the other hand, create the methods, right? We got to let go of control and let the universe bring those to us. So what would the next step be? Well, winners know that they have unconscious patterns, all right, that have developed in them. They're willing to be the observer and see them and identify. And all of the 4,000 plus people that we've worked with, that we've witnessed change in, people who have followed their bliss, like the ones Mark illustrated a little bit ago, they uncovered the patterns that were holding them back. That was step one. And you can do that at the quiz if you haven't already taken it. Okay. What's
Yeah.
holding you back quiz?
Yeah. markjquiz.com. So, and there it is right there. Most people use their methods to determine their intentions. Successful people use their intentions to discover new methods. How? Well, they ask the questions. Is this important enough for me to find a way? Which tells the subconscious mind, sorry for being repetitive, but it's these tiny little things that make a huge difference. That is telling the subconscious mind there is a method, and the subconscious mind has no defense against your voice. You don't say, there's a method, go find it. You come from an assumptive place. Is this important enough? And this is where you really want to get emotional, okay? This is where you really need to decide, Ruth Ellen, do I really want this? Is it my choice? Or is it because the mom, dad, guy, the conditioning that you're so very well aware of because you've been through the master keys, right? And so, most people don't realize they've been conditioned. And I'm telling you, you've all been conditioned just like I was, just like Lori was, just like Davene was, the fabulous Davene, to look at the methods available to pick your intention. Stay within your means. Stay within your means. It's okay to have a dream, but stay within your means. It's a contradiction. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's impossible to stay within your means and have a dream. One of them has to go. Now, means isn't necessarily money. It could be time. It could be the courage to walk away
Education.
from something that you just spent 4 years grinding out in college to be a software engineer. And now you decided, like the Ferrari monk, he was a very successful guy in business. And he discovered Joseph Campbell and metaphysics, which is what we're into, way before him. But because of Joseph Campbell. And he walked away from this goes back 20 years. He was making 350, 400,000 a year driving a Ferrari. And he walked away from all of it to pursue metaphysics and develop a career. And now he's a writer and he does what he wants. He gets to work with people like you, which is why I do what I do. The thrill of watching a Randy break through, okay, by understanding there really is a creative genius. It's fine to say, I understand Dr. Land discovered that, but is it really a creative genius in me? Because we forgot that dry cleaning were stupid idiots. No, we're not stupid idiots. We just did a silly thing, and these little shifts in vocabulary, like Stephen Penn was so cool about, letting us utilize him versus Jennifer's languaging. And I hope that you all learned something from that. So anybody have any questions or anything that we can help them with? Anything they want to share? You do, Miriam? Yes?
Hi.
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 Hi. I just want to say, listening to you, it really is mind blowing So I'm only kind of starting to realize that I have some of it written down here. Like I didn't realize. I knew when I was a kid I was capable of this, that, and everything. Like I wanted to be Madonna. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be an astronaut. And I was like, I'm going to be these things. But I didn't think I was capable enough or even worthy, to be honest with you, until I came here. So I just want to say it's literally so exciting and mind blowing. It really is. And just on the I'll send a message to Laurie and Davene just about an IT thing, but I just wanted to say I'm I'm actually definitely finding my purpose, and it's incredible. It's going to give you a reason to live. It really is. I actually just can't even get over how I'm feeling already, even knowing that I'm on the right path. And just in relation to what Stephen said, and just like I'm nearly afraid to dream so big. You know what I mean? And I'm like, is there a limit to this? Because I do have amazing dreams. I want to have a podcast. I want to have multiple streams of passive income because we all actually deserve it. Like we deserve it, and we're all able to do it because that's in us. So I just want to say, and I'm not just saying this. I'm really getting so much out of all of this. I'm sorry about the bit of IT issues I'm having, but it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring and it's so exciting. And yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just, and what's really interesting here is, of course, when you work with us, you see Lori is a yellow heart and a blue heart, and Dave is a blue heart and a white, and I'm a red and a blue. This is color code. And one of the things that we do in the standing tall is we know how to communicate with you. We've been doing this for years. Your primary color is your core motive, and so many people pick dreams that are in conflict, or at least not in alignment with their core motive, which is what drives them, you know. So basically, Davene takes care of the guides, and she works with the members. And blues are helpers. They're all about helping others, and they're all about intimacy. I'm a red. I'm about making progress all the time. Lori's yellow. She's about fun and adventure. Now, this isn't really about us, but my purpose statement, which is right here, they used to be long things. Now, that's all the subconscious mind needs. That's it. Okay. It only needs a few sentences, nothing complicated, no long affirmations or anything like that. It doesn't understand it. Okay. I am healthy. That's what it understands. Okay. I am healthy. You get that in there, your body regenerates at least once every cell in your body. So you tell your mind, which is running the show, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, over and over and over again. The subconscious mind starts producing healthy cells. So I had a situation a couple of years ago where it looked like I was headed for dialysis, and they can't understand why that score has now gone up, and I'm going to be around to piss my wife off for a lot longer period of time, which is a little urine joke there for you. But anyway, you'll get it on the way home. But anyway, what's incredible is the power that you have, and it's so nice to see people thinking about that. It's about questions, and having a mastermind partner makes all the difference in the world. Accountability works. So I want to tell you about a little surprise on the next webcast, I should say Zoom, that we're doing, workshop, is why goals always collapse. Okay. Why they always collapse, and they always do, if they're not set off your intention. Okay. If they're not, and that intention isn't in alignment with your core motive, your personal pivotal needs, and the 2-word description of you. You need to have a 2-word description of yourself. Who are you? Well, I'm a mother. No, that's a role that you have. Okay. I'm a deacon at my church. No, that's a role that you have. Well, I sell vitamins. No, that's your occupation. Who are you? Who are you? And that who are you, that 2-word description, which you guys will discover no later than we run a 2-day vision workshop in at the end of August, beginning of September. And those people get first crack at a scholarship into the Master Key experience. And they get the inside track because they've shown up, and that's free, by the way, too. So, but basically, you have to know what your core motive is. If you're picking dreams that aren't in line with your core motive, they're not going to happen. Not because they're not good things, okay? But you'll need to constantly be motivated. And I'm going to tell you right now, motivation doesn't work. Neither does inspiration. Think about the last great inspirational speech that you heard. Everybody think about, maybe it was Les Brown, maybe it was Tony Robbins, maybe it was somebody, a thing you saw on YouTube. Think about the last great inspirational speech where they were talking about, this incredible feat of strength, or crawling through glass and barbed wire and all that stuff or whatever. Everybody got it in their mind? Yes. Can you think of one? Yes. Okay. Now tell me this, did your life change? No, doesn't change, because consistency, repetition with feeling, again, another great use for feeling, repetitious behavior that's charged with feeling, that's in line with your core motive, is the only way to transformation. And the only way to get what you want, when you decide what it is that's in alignment with who you are, the only way is to know that you know that you know that there's that the method is available. It's there. That's method versus intention. So you set an intention that you don't need to be motivated for, because it's in your heart. It's your heart's desire. Did you know there's more messages sent from the heart to the head than vice versa? This is a beautiful thing. So when you find this passion, you won't stay stuck. Some people find a way while most people stay stuck. Today, we've given
Most people.
Yeah. Most people stay stuck.
Most people never achieve. They go back and forth to work. They may have a happy family life, whatever, but most people do not achieve what would make them truly happy.
Yeah.
And it's conditioning, like Mark talked about, B.F. Skinner. It's not your fault, but you can do something about it.
Yep.
And that one will get you on the way home, Marky. That doesn't work on Zoom. That's from your old being on stage days.
Well, never been much of a jokester. Ad-libber, superb. Jokester, not much of a jokester.
You're not a jokester, but you're really funny. I still remember seeing that guy, Jamie, I forget his last name, who
that climbed
almost
Everest.
died on Everest.
Yeah.
I mean, that speech was amazing. It was great, but it changed nothing. I think back to it from time to time, and it was just entertaining.
Yeah.
That's all. It didn't change my life in one little tiny bit.
Yeah. They almost died. And so then they came back down, and then he went again the next year and learned from the first time, and they went. Amazing story. And so they had all the leaders at a network marketing company. They had the top 100 earners in the room to inspire them, to inspire their teams. Nothing changed for the leaders except me, which was changing anyway, and nothing changed for the company's volume. And he was marvelous.
We had a purpose.
And a marvelous human being. Anyway.
We had a purpose. We had a purpose, and we were on. It was unanimous. We were passionate. because this is what we wanted.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about us. Anybody have any
Well,
questions?
nobody else wants to say anything, so we gotta.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got our yellows here. There's Hannah
Hannah.
Bobana.
Yes, for a hand up. Hi,
Hannah
Hannah.
took so many great pictures of me at Fenway Park. Thank you, Hannah.
She did.
How are you doing, Hannah?
Well, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay. You know what I love is as we all are evolving, because when were you at Fenway? How long ago was that?
4 or 5 years ago. I think it was
4 or
20.
5 years ago.
I think it was 2022.
Hmm,
No, I think
okay.
it was 2020. It was 2020. September 2020.
Okay. Wow. I mean, because we are forever evolving. Okay, we're not and that what so I don't know when I started with you. It was probably 9 years ago. And then, I went my different direction, but I was hit by a car in 2024, December in Beverly on Rantoul Street and thrown 20 feet into the air. And it's been a
Oh my
long
God.
haul, and I'm walking with walking sticks, but it's because of the beliefs and the purposes and Joe Dispenza. But it was always you with enthusiasm, and just the things that I learned from you and Pam and Lori and Davene, it just, and everybody, it's ingrained in me. And as time has gone, I'm now 76, going on 77. So, I began a little business Admiral Concierge and then going into network marketing, changed the company. I love the company. But I've gone back now in ways to Admiral. Yeah, you say you have to have a word or two words, and Admiral is my word. And so Admiral Concierge is morphing again because I'm not a legacy. I'm a living legacy.
Right.
And along with the passion that I have for the MLM, the company, the product, it's helped me personally and professionally, to come back out. And it has to be, it's not from the mind, it's from the heart, it's from the feeling. And in the beginning, I gave up drinking when I started with all of you. And so with the way that I've evolved mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, it's all come around into the hero's journey. And I just
Right.
love what you're saying. And I also want to say, I picked up Standing Tall.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm sitting on my porch and I'm rereading that because I never read it the right way.
Yeah. Are you a yellow, as I recall?
Yellow, I think I'm yellow, blue, white. I'm just,
Well, we all have a little bit of
yeah,
everything, but as
yeah,
I remember is yellow because you're
yeah.
about having fun and out on the water and all that. And
And that's all, that was part of my life, but the boat went away, fortunately, before everything happened to me. And I
yeah,
was starting going from the yellow, the party, the fun, into, I think, more of the blue, probably right
right.
now. And it's a beautiful journey that everybody's on. And I want to thank you all so very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And here's this is let me just do this just to show you that it's not a story, but this is actually, like I said, this dream was born at 8 years old, and I had, and I reset the dream, and this is actually at Fenway Park, and it's pretty awesome to be there, and you see my pants start falling down as I'm going around the bases.
Go ahead, Speedy. Go ahead, Speedy.
Yeah, but here's what's interesting, right? Is let's see if I can get this right there. I'm gonna stop it right there. That's something I always wanted to see was hit the ball off the wall, which I was the only one that reached the wall that day. and most of these guys were 35 to 50. But there it is. There's my name up at Fenway Park. Now, that doesn't mean anything to you. That's not the point. The point is that was my intention. And I knew that Stephen, I wasn't going to be called up by the Boston Red Sox to play third base for them, although they might be able to use me this year. But, that had passed me. But I was open, like Jennifer, to new methods. And then fantasy camp popped up, and I don't know if I should go or not. And it's like, wait a minute, you're going to die. What are you waiting for? My mother used to say all the time, what are you waiting for and why are you waiting?
And
And
what's the point
that's,
of piling up money if it isn't doing anything for you?
yeah. Money
That's
is a
money
currency.
wasn't the thing. It was like, go do it.
Yeah. And then I said, I don't know if I want to fly to Boston just to play in one game. And she said, the only reason I'm not going to kill you for saying that is that then you won't be able to go. You're going, And this is what happens when you have someone that's supporting you that you're working with. And Lori flew in from Minnesota, and there was a restaurant that I wanted to eat in the North End called Table. And Lori and her husband took me out to dinner that night to Table. It was awesome. And for some reason, I wore a Chinese shirt. This work of art from Robert Graham. I don't know what I was thinking. Instead of wearing all black and being like mafia looking. But anyway, the point is, it's all about an adventure, and find that intention. Anybody else have anything? Pete, I think we're working together on Friday, which is great. We will be doing a pilot program that's free, of course, on the next Zoom that we have here. It will be a tiny challenge. I was looking at challenges, Michelle. By the way, you've never booked your one-on-one appointment with me. Fill out that survey and get the one-on-one appointment with me, okay? And I want to tell you something about, you're going to be in New Hampshire. I don't know how far you are, how far up in New Hampshire you're going to be, but my son has a church in Maine where they use ayahuasca as the sacrament. So I think you'd enjoy meeting that community. But anyway, so this is going to be, so I'm looking at these challenges that people run, and then I've talked to several people, and nothing really changes for them. They take the challenge and blah, blah, blah. But it's, 200-300 people, whatever. These are we're going to be known as quote unquote tiny challenge, which is working. You'll either work with Lori or Davene for 3 days, or me for 3 days, and we'll hold you accountable for 3 days and work with you for 3 days. So a little tiny challenge that's one-on-one, and that's really what we're all about. So anyway, make sure you plug in 2 weeks, because the people that are on are the only ones that are going to get a shot. And probably because obviously we don't have space for everybody. And we have another yellow, Michelle. Right?
Hey, I'm actually blue red, and I just saw your hearts were red blue. So
Okay.
did
Oh,
take
great.
a test. Yeah, I'd like to be more yellow. But that's okay. I can work with that. Yeah, I just really appreciate. I wanted to say to the last lady who shared that she went alcohol free. So the day that I fly out on August 3rd to go back to New Hampshire, I'll stop and see a friend in Seattle on the way. I'm excited. But yeah, it'll be 3 years that I went alcohol free. And I really feel it
Congratulations.
was the first kind of domino that fell
Yeah.
for all this like rapid change in my life. I had no idea that that was the thing that really created the shift, because I've been on the healing path and teaching healing stuff and all kinds of stuff for over 20 years. But and I was grateful that you shared that in your story as well on one of the other ones. So yes, I will book the one-on-one, and just thank you so much for doing this. I'm so grateful I found you through somebody else's Facebook one night at 1 a.m. And just got connected. So thank you so much.
Yeah, a new method. Thank you. Yeah, for me, it's 38.5 years, but me, you, and Hannah all have the same amount. 1 day, 1 day, 1 day at a time. One Now is all there is, now is all there ever was, and now is all there ever will be. And if you're not in the now, then you're either in anxiety about tomorrow or regret about the past. Okay. Or even worse, using them as a distraction so you don't have to answer, Marlene, the big question. What do you want? What's your purpose? Now, goals, which we're going to talk about next time, the reason goals collapse is because they're picked as a purpose. The new BMW, the house at the beach. Nothing wrong with that stuff. It's confirmation of your power, but it doesn't give you power. What gives you power is when you're doing your purpose. It's how it affects the lives of other people, and you're not doing it to affect the lives of other people. You're just doing what you love to do. Because sometimes it's not actually who you're helping in your network marketing business or helping in physical therapy or anything like that. It's that you went after your heart's desire, and that unconsciously, as Maya Angelou said, gives other people permission to do the same thing, to go after their heart's desire. Life's too short. It's over like that. I blinked. I was 8 years old the first time I was at Fenway Park. I blinked. I'm 77. Here's the thing I'm going to leave you with, right? Because I don't believe in motivation. What I believe is in facts. There are 2 days in your life that are not 24 hours. The day that you're born and the day that you die. All the rest of them are a full 24 hours. Don't waste them living somebody else's dream. Peace and love, everybody. Dave, thanks for all your support and help. You're awesome. Lori, awesome. Peace, everybody.